turning it on.
On off. That's because I think you told me that this is not a I have to light it gas. It's going to be an internal system, right? So this will kick the pilot on. So I'm going to go ahead and turn all these guys on while I have you here because this is one we're using today. Just so I'm a hands-on person, so if I get to touch everything, it'll stick in my head better. So then
And it tells you
it's melting.
milk and it's whipped. So if you use solid shortening on this,
Won't.
okay,
Ever.
then you won't have to change that.
Okay.
There is a setting that you can go into, and again, with everything, refer to the manual.
This is one of the few things our kids are allowed to refill. So we like to get them the big heavy jugs and make them use their muscles and let's refill.
So if you ever did have solid,
Okay.
you go into the programming and you switch that so that it kicks it on and off slower,
Okay.
so that you don't like solid changes.
Yeah. Fire bad.
Yeah, fire
Fire bad.
So from there, it'll automatically come on. It's you can see
Yeah, I can see
it's
the
starting
heat
to
on it.
heat on up and all of that. And then it'll tell you that it's ready. Programming, when you get your manual, you really just follow these.
We got one. It's 2,673 pages because they put every manual in the entire room in it.
You're gonna get a separate one. I have them. I can
You're
drop
my new
them
hero.
off. Yes.
Because I was like, hey, I'll just look up something I understand, like
Right.
the flat top, and I typed in flat top, and after 4 minutes of sitting there, it was only at 1,500 pages, and
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, if something's burning down, I don't have time for that.
You're right.
So, separate.
You will have
good.
separate ones.
It will have this page
Okay.
as like a separate laminated sheet.
Okay.
And then it's really just going through. This is step one, you turned them on.
Yep.
It's all the way through melt.
Okay.
And then if you want to actually program
Is that like the McDonald's style, so you can hook it here and it goes?
Yep.
Okay. We've
Drop-
never used those. I
drop
can't-
down, come up, they're auto lifts. So if you
Okay.
actually get into a program, then you can auto lift and close.
Okay.
Up and down. If you want to use it manually.
That's what we do. We don't sell French fries. We do potato chips from scratch. Like the kids cut potatoes and fry them, and we free float them for that. And then, oh gosh, fry baskets we barely even use in general.
If you need it.
But if we want
It
to
is here.
do a specialty item,
The one you're also going to need is the one on filtering.
yeah, that's my biggest concern today. To make sure I understand that. Okay.
So, and this is how to filter. Essentially, there's only a couple of things that are really critical in filtering.
Okay.
One is you have to leave it on.
Okay.
It will, once you open this valve,
Yeah. That's where that's gonna go there.
well, it's
Or
going to
no,
go
it'll hook up to
to
the
here.
to the hose. Okay.
Now, on each one, if you want to go to the hose and hose it back, that's your toggle switch here.
Okay.
So,
And this
use
is
only,
just like a power tool thing.
yeah,
you clip
it's
on?
like a quick connect.
Okay.
And you should have a quick connect, and yes, it gets hot, and everything gets hot, and
Yeah.
you've got
Which is
350
why we're not
degree
allowed
oil.
to have the kids do it. Yeah.
This is use and fill.
Okay.
So,
Would you recommend?
if you leave it that way, then you're going to have it recirculate.
The same oil, but it goes through the filter and comes back out.
Right.
Okay. So would
So
you recommend that
if
daily?
you just want, yeah,
Okay.
the more often you filter, the longer life of your oil. And,
Okay.
oil has a sweet spot in it. So if it's really clean,
Yeah.
you don't get as much color on your chips and all of that kind of thing. If it's really dirty, then you start to get
Too
bad
much.
smells and all the rest of that. So you want it in that sweet spot, and by filtering it, you will get into that sweet spot quicker, longer, all of that. So yeah, I would filter it daily. Now, do you need to take the hose and hose it all out and do all that? Probably not, because if you're hosing it back to rinse everything down, if I got breaded fish and things like that where you got a lot of crumb, then yeah, you're probably going to want to rinse it down. But realize that you're taking 300 plus degree oil and spraying it.
Yeah.
Because
Which will be a me and Courtney only thing.
Yeah.
Our
So-
biggest item is the potato chips.
and if all I'm doing is potato chips,
Pretty much.
I'd drop the oil, run it through the filter cycle,
Okay.
and that's, if you get
So that's
filtered.
that, but
Mhm.
okay. Can we
Then-
do that for one of them?
Yeah.
Any of them?
Let's just make sure. Okay. So now
Why is there so much in there?
that's a damn good question.
Okay. By the way, we have not filtered anything. We had a guy come in and show us, and he is more concerned over sitting down and getting his britches pulled up than he was about teaching us the equipment, which is why you got pulled in, because he didn't do anything to teach us it. And he left all his stuff. So he came in and he filled it up. He made sure everything worked, and then he gave us like a 15-second rundown and left. So there's nowhere for it to go then. The rest of the filter is there.
Right.
Right.
Because you don't want to drop oil and have too much oil.
Yeah. For those filters.
So,
So
in the whole process, that needs to be empty. And one of the things I was going to start with saying is only drop one at a time
Yeah.
so that
So it has somewhere to go.
it has
And
somewhere
then we
to
can
go.
filter it up into
The
it.
only other thing that you really have to watch out for, and lest I be that guy. So when you're in here and you push this back in,
Yeah.
you see
Where does that go?
this,
Oh, it goes into, okay.
it goes into there. You just want to make sure that that's
It's
in
actually there.
because then it's gonna go back in and it's gonna bubble up through the back. It's gonna drop and come back in a cycle
without the hose.
without having the hose or anything else.
So at the end of the day today,
And that's
I could do that, and I'll have the kids and I can just scoop,
Yeah.
because that's not gonna be hot down there right now, right?
no.
So the kids and I can scoop that into a stock
Yeah,
pot or
whatever.
something. Get it as empty as we can, and then
And
I
it-
can filter it just doing the.
If you got a little hair, it's not good.
But that's
Bone dry. But that's like you got a whole
that's a whole other guy in there.
And
And I
you know,
don't have to
there
do the
again.
hose. I could just
Yeah,
hit the
if
filter,
you just hit
filter on
filter,
this.
and then it's going to filter.
Yeah.
And then you close the valve like it is now
Okay.
and let it continue to run.
Yeah.
And then instead of dropping back down each time and filtering through, it's just going to bubble up and stay up here
Okay.
because this is
It's pulled
closed.
now. Okay.
Yeah, because it's closed, and you'll see air bubble up.
I leave it on. Okay.
It automatically shuts off the burners when you
When
drop
they're
the oil.
okay. Okay.
And so
I'm old school. We have that pipe. We put it on there. We put a stock pot under with a
Mo-
colander with a
mostly
coffee filter.
mostly the pipe.
So it does all the work for me now.
Yes, and for the pipe, yes, you want to unscrew this, and you want to. But that's mainly for boiling it out.
Yeah, and we have a company that comes and does that now.
Okay.
So I don't even
Well,
have to.
they
Yeah.
will do that.
That's perfect.
Because the thing is, you don't want to end up with water and all that stuff and boiling it out in your filter system. Because you know what happens when you drop 350 degree oil into water. They go.
We just went over that with the fire marshal on Monday to make
Yes.
sure that we knew what that was.
Do not do that.
Yes.
Don't throw ice cubes in there or anything like that. But so hit and filter, open the thing, drops, recirculates
Okay. And then when we close it,
for a
it
couple
fills
of
it back
minutes,
up.
fills it back up.
But they're not actually touching anything hot when they do that.
No. Well, unless you get into like this pipe will be hot and all of that. But No.
So, and the oil is
And-
not anywhere external, because in that case, we could let the kids do that, and then Courtney and I just do the hose refill, where it's actually going to be supplied.
Right. So,
And that's in here as well.
and this gives you the same thing, and make sure the power switch is on.
Okay. I'm gonna beat it into my head.
And that's first and bold because people don't believe it, but
Yeah.
you have to
It
have,
makes sense when you explained it.
you have to have power in order to
Yeah.
have the whole thing run.
But in my head, I'm just like, I'm gonna burn out my heaters in like 2
Yeah.
seconds flat.
And it should be 300 to 350 degrees.
Yep, I think they were doing 325 yesterday.
And you know, if you're cooking at 350, you don't have to slow it down. 350 profit. It's really designed so that when if you're in a volume restaurant, you can drop the oil, filter it through the filter.
I got my
Raw.
start at O'Charlie's with the chicken
Yeah.
tenders, the hand-breaded chicken tenders, and French fries and everything on the fry side.
So
and it always
you
had the
can-
build up in the bottom. so
And that
it
way
flushed
you
out.
can be in and out of that in, 10 minutes or less.
Okay, that's what I thought. I don't know what's going on unless they're going to be order by the time this goes out, but there's plenty of slots, so they should be fine. Beth Manor, Mike Carpenter, Juana Fisher. It's about 8 of
That
them.
was just slower than the rest
Oh,
of
yeah, I
them.
can tell.
Oh, I'm sorry. Beth Manor. Mike Carpenter, they're here.
Yeah, they got a crap ton of oil in here.
Yeah.
And I did have the one that
Okay.
goes through this. Need be, I can leave this with her so that she's got something.
Yep.
for her.
Yeah, we
Because
did just get them delivered, so
they really should have
step by step.
step by step, at least the first few times they do it, so
Yeah.
that they understand.
And get that muscle
The
memory
process.
going. Yeah.
It's not complicated at all,
No.
but you're dealing with a crap ton of 350 degree
Yeah,
oil.
exactly. That's bad news if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. You just don't want to end up with mistakes in the middle of it.
Right.
Because everybody's got the horror story of, dropping 50 pounds of oil into the floor, slipping and falling on it. The very worst accident I ever saw in the kitchen was I had a guy empty the oil, pump it into a 5-gallon pickle barrel, and go to the door with it, and just melted his polyester pants to
Oh, I
his
believe
leg.
it.
Picked him up and stood him in the ice machine. Had packed ice around him. I got a call from the kid's mother the next day saying, "You all really saved him."
Yeah.
Because, anyway,
Sorry.
I'm gonna leave this because you should really start until you get it.
Just a
But
reminder.
if you're boiling it out, then you're opening that. The big end goes into here, and then you're just dumping it. When you're dumping oil, like I'm discarding it, make sure that you're doing it into something that's going to handle all of that stuff in your proper.
Now they have a company come in and do it for us.
Oh well, in that case, that's even easier.
Yeah. And we just call and say, hey, our oil's getting bad, you need to come to boil out, and they do it for us. But,
Yeah.
it's
So
expensive to refill, so we want to try
The-
to keep our oil less.
the filtering process,
Yeah.
the more often you do it, the longer your life is on the thing.
So I can do this on
What-
everyone every day.
Yes.
Okay.
As soon as you get that out there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have the kids do
But
that
yeah,
today.
and I mean,
They're a little too
you
cold.
want
Yeah, because
They're
this
all-
one's like way up on the thing.
yeah, and the problem is, and also teach your kids, if you're filling this thing full,
I feel it to the minimum.
yes, because it will be spanned up.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
that's what I told my seniors, but this might have been in juniors.
So, that's why we have all this extra in there.
Too much.
But the whole process is meant to be able to do this in the middle of a cooking process.
Yeah.
Drop the oil, polish it for a minute, put it back into there, and be up and running in 10 minutes. So that
Yeah.
you're just barrel rolling and you run through this.
That
My
might
wife-
open us up to some other menu items too, because oil
My
was-
wife used to manage the kitchen at Dell's headquarters in Louisville. The process for filtering and KFC was after every batch of extra crispy. They would filter their oil 8-10 times a day. If they did a batch of extra crispy, they would filter
Yeah.
oil. And they would get 3-4 weeks out of oil that
Awesome.
had hand breaded
Yes.
chicken grease,
Perfect.
guts, all that kind of stuff. So there are. This is a micro mesh filter
On the very bottom.
on the very bottom,
Okay.
and it has. Let's see if I can get to the filter. So it has a filter and in a filter, and then you can get a fabric filter that goes over top of that. Like trying to
That's much as well.
and part of that micro mesh is so that you don't end up having to have the paper filter or the cloth filter, the fabrics once. Will you get more out of it? Yes. I mean, that takes it to like, I think it's the thickness of 4 hairs or something like that. It's down into very fine.
Very, very tiny.
And then if you get to the paper filters, then you're filtering out like blood cells.
Okay.
So, it's kind of in that how far do you want to go?
Yeah. It's
And
one
again,
of
if you're just doing potatoes,
the most, yeah.
those are pretty forgiving. I mean, there's not breading that's falling off all the
Correct.
time. There's not blood coming out of chicken wings.
Yep, all the
There's not,
proteins and stuff, yep.
all of that stuff. So do I need a paper filter? Probably not for this. If you're doing,
Well, because we also have another one over there, so we've been trying to limit that. Oh, speaking of that one, the one on the left says pilot house. So
that's not terribly unusual.
how do I fix that? I just told the kids don't touch it.
They need to relight it.
Who's they?
Somebody other than me.
Okay.
Okay.
Whoever
Put it
comes
up.
out and lights all this.
We
Some-
did. So I don't know how to light that one.
I'm not sure how to light it either.
Okay.
I'd have to go.
That was pre-lit, and then everything else, it was me and Kevin Lacey laying on the floor lighting everything.
Food connection, electrical connection,
I can get someone out here for it.
gas connection.
It's just the one, but we're trying to keep it separated where we use this for the restaurant and that one for our labs. So that would be
Okay.
our chicken wings and such.
Sure.
Whatever the kids are experimenting with.
'Cause-
This one we can stick more to the potato chips and because this is a veggie and starch station, so it's going to get vegetables and starch, isn't it? And that means so I might look into getting one of those fancy
Yeah,
filters for
and if
that
it
one.
doesn't pop right on. A lot of times there's a air bubble in the gas line,
Okay.
and so where it would have been lit, it goes out, and then
Got it.
until all the gas lines are bled out
Yeah.
in the building, and there's no.
Yeah, that was us holding all of the buttons
Yeah.
for like 5 minutes waiting for all the air out.
I had a
so-
call from the restaurant the other day. It was like, my thing keeps going out, and it keeps going out.
Right.
Is there anything else? Yeah, the whole dang line keeps going out. I said, well, it's not the
Right.
pilot's problem. It's burping the line. So
Anything
So-
else on this one?
now you're up 350s, except for
No.
that one's set for 325.
That
And
is so much easier. than any fryer in my entire life has ever been. Ever.
Well, thank you. In that
I like
case,
it.
I will reward you with a nice.
Perfect. I love it. I love
Here,
those.
here's. You can also download these from the internet.
Okay. Perfect. Because I'll teach
as
the
you
kids
can-
today how to do the basic filtering, and then Courtney and I can do the hose one. Probably
you
do
should
that.
have the hose put up somewhere. And that kind of thing. So
It might be in my classroom. It's here. It's here somewhere. I know we have 2 of them. I'm 100% sure. They might both be back there out of the way. What was our last name?
Charbroiler.
Is that you?